In this video, I'm solving 3 must-know derivative problems using first principles, the kind that always show up on tests. I'll show you the only formula you need, how to set up each case, and how to use limits to get full marks. So let's start out by writing the formula and doing f of x plus h. So the limit as h approaches 0, I'm just going to put h in the denominator because it's not going to change. All right, how do we do this f of x plus h term? So what we do is we deal with the variable terms and then add the constant at the end. So take the coefficient of the first term here, x squared, and put it down. So the coefficient of x squared is just 1. That's actually 1x squared, right? Then you just write the bracket, so x plus h, and raise it to the power of the variable you're looking at. Okay, so what's the power of this variable? Well, it's x squared, so it's the power of 2. So we're going to raise the bracket to the power of 2. That's it. That's all we do. And then we move on to the next variable. So what's the first step? Coefficient of the variable. Coefficient of negative x is -1. Then we just place the bracket and raise it to the power of the variable. What's the power of negative x? It's just 1, right? So we keep it like this. And then add the rest, right? Plus 1. So that's the f of x plus h term. Finished. Next, we're just going to do the negative f of x term, which is pretty simple. It's just negative and then whatever your function is. Okay, so after you finish putting everything in the formula, all we need to do is some algebra and then factor. So let's start with the first term here, 1 times x plus h squared. So what we're going to do is FOIL this term. A quick shortcut for FOIL is square the first, square the last, multiply together and double. So multiply together x times h and double, so 2x times h. So that's your result, x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. So square the first, square the last, multiply together, and double. Next, we're just going to distribute the negative into the bracket here. So negative x minus h, then plus 1. Then we're going to distribute this negative into the last bracket. So basically just reverse all the terms. So negative x squared now, and there's a positive x, and then a negative 1. Let's start with x squared. Is there another x squared term? Yep. And it's negative x squared, so we have a positive x squared and a negative x squared, so they're going to cancel out. Next, we have 2 times x plus h. Is there another term like that? No. So let's just write it in. Now we have h squared. Is there another term like to h squared? Nope. So add h squared. Now we have negative x. Okay. Well, negative x, we can cancel that with positive x. Now we have negative h. Negative h also goes in here. And then we have plus 1 and minus 1. So cancel out these ones. Okay, so we're basically done now. All we need to do is take the limit. And what do we need to do before we take the limit? Identify the limit, so what type of limit it is, apply the method we know, cancel, then compute. Okay, so what type of limit is this? I don't see a square root, so we don't use a conjugate. We don't need to do a common denominator, so it's obviously a factoring one, right? It's a polynomial, and we have to factor. This is super easy. All we're going to do is factor out an h. As you can see, there's an h in every term, right? So we're just going to factor that out. Okay, so h out. Now we're left with 2x because we took the h away, plus 1h because we took 1h away, and then we take an h away from negative h. That leaves us with negative 1. Okay, so if you multiply that h back into the bracket, you should get the original term. The next step is just to cancel. So obviously, this denominator is going to cancel with this h in the numerator, and we're just going to be left with 2x plus h minus 1. Okay, so now applying the limit. This one's really easy. I'm just going to make a big red box down here. Apply that limit in, that h is going to go to 0, and there's no other h in here. So the limit as h approaches 0 of 2x plus h minus 1 is just 2x minus 1, and that is f prime. So we just differentiated that function using first principles. So our function is 2 over 2x plus 1. We're only worried about the variable for f of x plus h. So let's just put the 2 in the numerator and move on. Okay, so the variable is 2x. First things first, coefficient. Then you put x plus h in place, and then raise it to the power of the variable. So the power of 2x is just 1. and then add the rest. Just like that. Now we subtract f of x. F of x doesn't change, it's just f of x as given in the question, just like this. So the common denominator is these two guys right here multiplied together. So let's just do that right now. I'm going to multiply that 2 into the bracket as well. So 2x plus 2h plus 1. All I did was multiply this 2 into the bracket. Okay. So to make a common denominator, we're just going to multiply the two denominators together. So the first one there, and then the denominator of f of x, or minus f of x, is here. That's 2x plus 1, and we just have them multiplied together. What we have to do here is change the numerator and give it what it doesn't have. So we do 2 times what it doesn't have. What doesn't it have? 2x plus 1. Easy. Now, we have negative 2 on the other side. Negative 2 is missing the whole other term, so we do the exact same thing, but we use the other term. So 2 times 2x plus 2h plus 1, what it's missing. Amazing. Let's distribute those 2's in. So 2 times 2x, 4x. 2 times 1, positive 2, minus negative 2 times 2x, that's negative 4x, and then minus 4h minus 2. So let's cancel. This 4x is going to cancel with negative 4x. The 2 is going to cancel with negative 2. And we're just left with negative 4h. Let's put that in the middle. Cancel first, then compute. So let's cancel. We have negative 4h and then times a 1 over h. So these h's are getting canceled. Let's just get rid of them. Multiply that 1 in, really it doesn't matter. We can just erase that times 1, right? Now we have negative 4 over all this, and let's compute the limit. 2x, and then that h term is just 0. It's 2 times 0, 2x plus 1, and then there's no h term in the other term, so 2x plus 1. And that is our final answer. You can write this as 2x plus 1 squared, or you can just keep it like this. Okay, so to create the f of x plus h term for this case, we put everything under the square root, and we just do 4 minus x plus h, right? The coefficient is negative 1, and the power is also 1, right? So that's correct. Minus f of x. F of x is at the top there, divided by h. Okay, so we did it. Now we're solving a limit. So how do we solve limits with square roots in the numerator? Easy. They're conjugate limits. So you multiply the top and bottom by the conjugate. What's the conjugate? The conjugate is the exact same thing as the numerator, but we switch the sign between the two terms. So instead of the square root of 4 minus x plus h minus the square root of 4 minus x, it's plus the square root of 4 minus x. So you just simply switch the signs. Okay, and we do the same thing down here. 4 minus x plus h plus instead of minus, right? That's it. Now we're just going to multiply those in. Then we're going to do the numerator. Basically, we just get rid of the square roots. So 4 minus plus h minus 4 minus x, brackets. Let's distribute those negatives in. Okay, so 4 minus x minus h minus 4 plus x. Now we're on to the really easy part, cancel and compute the limit. So let's cancel first. This 4 cancels with this 4, or this negative 4. This negative x cancels with that positive x. This negative h cancels with this positive h down here. But we're left with a negative 1, right? Because we still have that negative symbol there. So the numerator is negative 1, not positive 1. And the denominator is just the square root of 4 minus x plus h plus square root of 4 minus x. Let's compute the limit. So we're going to replace all the h's with 0. Square root of, well, if that h becomes 0, it's just 4 minus x now. Plus square root 4 minus x. And that's the final answer, but you can further simplify by just representing the denominator as 2 times the square root of 4 minus x instead of having them separated. So that's it. That's the third variation of this. It's basically just limits. You just have to know how to do the f of x plus h term. Hope this helped. See you in the next video. In the next video, I solve 3 displacement, velocity, and acceleration problems that will be on your calculus exam.